All right, example 4. Find the equation of the line that's parallel to the line 2y minus x equals 2 and passes to the point 3, -1. I want you guys to get better at these problems. First up, the directions say find the equation of the line. Okay, that makes it the type of problem that we've seen before where they gave us the slope or they told us 2 points that the line passed through so we could find the slope. Okay, the first portion of this problem, anytime that it has these words, find the equation of the line, the first part that you have is you have to figure out how to find slope. That's your challenge. Y-intercept's easy. Just a little bit of simple algebra. But slope, there's like, depending on what information they give you, there's 5 or 6 different things that you can do to find slope. So far, they've had problems where it says the slope is 1/2. You find the slope by looking at the word that says, hey, look, the slope is 1/2. That's pretty easy, right? The line passes through these 2 points. We use the slope formula to find slope. What they give us in this problem is it's parallel to y minus x equals 2. It's parallel to a line. All right? So that's my information I need to find slope in this problem. Parallel lines have equal slopes. All right? So if I'm investigating this problem and my intention is I want to know what the slope is, I need to pick out information that's going to help me find that information. I know that parallel lines have equal slopes, and they told me about a parallel line. That's where I'm going to find my slope. All right? So again, a lot of times when you see a problem, if you know where to look for the information, it helps you to find the information you're looking for. So there's where to look. 2y minus x equals 2. How can I take 2y minus x equals 2 and determine a slope? Divide by 2 and also move the x over, right? So I'm going to move the x over here, so I'm going to get 2y equals x plus 2, right? And one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a 1 in front of the x. I always like my x to have a number in front of it. So if it doesn't, I'm going to put a 1 there. I don't care if the y has a number in front of it. I don't want it to. But if it doesn't, that's fine. But if the x doesn't, I'm going to put a 1 there. Then as Maddie said, I'm going to divide by 2. That gets me y equals 1/2 x plus 1, right? And slope is located right here when you're looking at y equals, right? So the slope of the line they gave me, this one, is 1/2, and parallel lines have equal slopes, so the slope of the line I'm looking for is also 1/2. Okay, so that's your first priority in your problem. Okay, when it says find the equation of the line, how do I find slope is the question you want to ask yourself. Or what information in this problem is going to help me find the slope. That way you've got yourself a task that you know exactly what you're looking through the information for. Information is going to help you find slope. Parallel lines, that's how you find slope. Now the second thing is, how do you find y-intercept? That's the other thing we need to know. All right? At this point, every single problem we get, the y-intercept is going to be found the same way. You always go to y equals mx plus b. And you need 2 pieces of information. You need, number 1, the slope, which we just found, and number 2, a point that the line we're looking for passes through. That's the other piece of information we need. All right? That point, 3, -1, is a coordinate x, comma, y. Slope is m, and these 4 letters are y, m, x, and b. B is what we want to know. Y, m, and x is what we do know. All right, so once we know the slope, and we have the point that the line passes through, we've got these 3 pieces of information. We substitute everything we know in. Y equals -1, m equals +1/2, x equals +3, b is what I want to find. I create just a simple algebra problem. Now, let me just say one thing about this. Slope is almost always a fraction. Almost always. And the point that it passes through is almost always integers. It doesn't ever pass to the point 1/17, 3/97, does it? No, it's always like 3 -1 or 2, 5. All right, so this is almost always a fraction. This is almost always an integer. So you're multiplying this simply by the top. If this happens to reduce to a whole number, let it be a whole number. I still see on your paper a bunch of people have 8/1, 1/1, 5/1, 17/1. That over 1 is in the way, causing you to have to use your brain more than you have to for a simple problem. 5/1 is just 5. So if this happens to become a non-fraction, let it be a non-fraction. In this case it doesn't. 1/2 times 3 is equal to 3/2, right? If it happens to become a fraction and you can't reduce it down to a whole number, then you want to make this a common denominator fraction that's equal to this number. So if I look at this number here, -1, and I want it to be over 2, -2 over 2 is equivalent to -1. So I just create a common denominator fraction. Okay, so again, if this has to be a fraction, there's no way around it, it can't be broken down into a nice integer or whole number, then it has a denominator. Just make sure this gets the same denominator. Multiply this times the denominator. So -1 is -2 over 2. If it was -7, it would be -14 over 2. If it was 5, it would be 10 over 2. If it was 88, it would be 176 over 2. All right, just double it, double it. I mean, that's all it is, right? So, I think I picked a number I can double. All right, so I move my 3 halves over, -3 and by creating that common denominator, I got a simple addition problem. Top and top, they're both negative, I get negative over the common denominator, so b is equal to -5/2. I found my slope, I found my y-intercept, and again, my answer just replaces those two objects with the slope and y-intercept. Y and x are part of your answer. So y equals, slope is 1/2 times x plus y-intercept. And plus b just means whatever b's sign is, put that sign on it. So it's plus b, b is -5/2, so I put -5/2. That's finding the equation of the line. Every single problem you see where it says find the equation of the line, that's how you do it. This is the difference. How do you find slope? Okay, we're going to do perpendicular lines this year also. When you get to calculus, and say find the equation of the tangent line, and guess what the first task there is? How do you find slope of a tangent line? All right, and again, it's just there's a way to do it, and you're going to perform that technique. You're going to get your slope. You're going to have a point it passes through. You're going to get your y-intercept. All the algebra is the same. How do you find slope is the only thing that changes. So again, make that your goal on these problems. Those 6 words. How do I find slope? What information will help me find slope? Pick it out. Do something with it to find slope. Once you find slope, you're ready to go. All right, that's all find the equation line will ever be, and we're going to see those problems all year long. So I want you to get good at them quickly. Pay attention to what you want to do in each step. Look for the information that helps you do that thing.